I know why you're actually here. You just want free money. Well, good thing is, I can give that to you. Use the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout, and you will get a free $20. Make sure you get yourself to a game now. What is going on, everyone? This is going to be a very fun thing to discuss. The Jalen Ramsey news. The Eagles miss on Jalen Ramsey. Howie Roseman did not get the job done. Jalen goes to the LA Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. A lot of Eagles fans are disgusted, pissed off, and they're very emotional because they've seen this secondary be depleted for a couple of years now, and they wanted the best cornerback available, and Jalen Ramsey clearly was that, and you can argue that he's the best cornerback in the league. Would I have done the deal? Yeah, I think I would have done the deal, yes. Am I pissed that we didn't do the deal? No. So I'm okay with both. Would I have done the deal? Yeah, I get it. You're bringing in top talent. You clearly have issues back there. Yes, he would help tremendously. Am I okay with keeping 2 first-round draft picks for the future? Yes. We are an old football team. We talk about getting younger. I know what's coming. Broads, Howie Roseman can't draft. Yes, it's been a hot discussion over the last week or so, looking back at all of Howie Roseman's draft picks. With that being said, you can't just throw away draft picks, first-round draft picks specifically, like it's candy, because we've struggled drafting. We have picked someone like Fletcher Cox. We have drafted Brandon Graham. We have drafted Zach Ertz. Those draft picks can be beneficial to this organization as a whole longer than Jalen Ramsey. There's more to it than just Jalen Ramsey, the player for this year after making the trade. How about how much money's going to be on the books? How about extending this guy? If Howie Roseman does have one strong suit, it is the money. It is manipulating the cap to make things work. But that changes the entire landscape and the entire blueprint of what you had put down. Now, I believe Howie Roseman easily could have made this work, and I think he knows that, and that's why I think he was involved in calling the Jaguars pretty much every single week to make sure that we're still in play for Jalen Ramsey. And at the end of the day, the Rams got it done. Was it the 4th-round draft pick that they ended up offering? Was that the difference? Because if that's the case, yes, that's silly. If we were only going for 2 firsts and that 4th-round draft pick was the difference maker, yeah, that doesn't make sense. That's frustrating, if that is the case. But here's where I don't get it. Eagles fans are so reactionary right now. They're just reacting to seeing what happened with the Vikings and knowing our secondary's depleted. They're reacting so heavily. There are other ways to go. You can find ways to get cornerback help without trading for Jalen Ramsey. Now, if Howie Roseman doesn't elect to do that and he wants to rely on Cravon LeBlanc and Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby coming back, that's a different discussion. But there are different avenues to get cornerback help. I think that there's value in those first-round picks. We are old. We are getting hurt almost all the time, it seems. Deshaun Jackson, Malik Jackson, Fletcher Cox isn't right. We're banged the hell up and we're getting old. Look at the numbers. We're not a young team. The only way to do that is to draft well. I know we haven't drafted well. That's a problem. We need to fix that. But that doesn't mean we just throw away our draft picks because we haven't drafted well. I don't like this narrative that, well, Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper, they've worked out. Everyone's retweeting that ESP tweet. They are helping their football teams, but it's not out yet if those first-round draft picks for Khalil Mack was totally worth it. Well, what did the Raiders get in return? How are those players the ones that they drafted with those first-round draft picks? The point of it is, you're giving up assets for the future. If you pick those players that will change your franchise down the road for 10, 12 years, like a Zach Ertz, like a Fletcher Cox, well, you get rid of those first-round draft picks and you no longer have that, and that changes your entire future of the organization. When you're a GM, it's not so much right now, and that's what this fan base doesn't realize. You're acting as a fan. You're acting emotionally as a fan. When you're a GM, there's more involved. Now, keep in mind, when saying this, I still said I would still do the deal. I still would have done it for 2 firsts and a fourth, yes. But I am just looking at it at the other perspective, and I'm looking at the alternative. When you are a GM, it's not just about right now. It's not. You're building an organization for a long period of time. You have a window. You have a blueprint. And you look at the 5-year plan, the 2-year plan, the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan. You have to. If you don't, you're a bad general manager. You're trying to build success. You're not trying to build for the right now. So I am okay with keeping the draft picks. We need to hit on those draft picks. That's where the concern comes in. So that's where I stand on it. For the 1 millionth time, because I understand how this works, people only hear what they want to hear. I would have done the deal. I would have acquired Jalen Ramsey for 2 firsts and a fourth. But at the same time, I can see why keeping draft picks are important. First-round draft picks in the NFL, they're valuable. They're players that generate on-field production, for the most part, if you land the draft correctly, instantly. And giving up 2 of those players, to me, it's a lot. It's a lot. So, some other things that I thought was a little interesting with the Eagles. Doug Peterson, right? Doug Peterson and this guarantee of the win in Dallas. At first, I thought to myself, that's just a coach. That's just a coach talking to the media and saying, we're going to win a game. Because what is he supposed to do? Say, we're going to lose the football game? Is that what he's supposed to say? We're going to lose tonight. Or we're going to lose on Sunday. Why would he say that? No, we're going to win. Okay. The more I listen to it, the more I critique it, the more I try and understand it. This is a weird tone out of Doug Peterson. A tone that we're not used to hearing. Is it a little bit of desperation? Is it a little bit of maybe feeling some pressure, feeling some heat? It's just a different type of, I don't know. This just doesn't seem like Doug Peterson, essentially, is what I'm getting at here. We've been with Doug Peterson for a while now as a fan base. He claims that he's just trying to show his team that he's confident in the squad. He's trying to show the locker room he's confident that we can go in there and get the W. But that's not how it came out. That's not how it was perceived. This was almost like I feel as if my back's against the wall as a head coach and I'm feeling a little nervous and maybe I'm questioning myself because we can't score on the road in the first quarter. It's a big-time issue. And I'm getting criticized for my play calling. Is that a big-time issue? What is my game plan? Listen, I'm just saying. I didn't love the tone, and it scares me a little bit, and I don't really know what to expect heading into Dallas. They have their backs against the wall. They lost 3 in a row. They don't want to lose 4 in a row. They're at home. We look like a mess. They might not have Amari Cooper. Who knows? And I don't want to dive into that just yet. It's still early in the week. We will obviously get into that more, but the tone was interesting. And even hearing Mike Groh talk. Oh, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's getting a bunch of looks at different spots here. Okay, that's great. Okay. What switch? The fact that you realize Mac Hollins couldn't do anything, that Nelson Aguilar couldn't do anything, you're just going to throw this kid into the fire? Or is he that good? Because if he was that good to be trying out all these different positions, he would have been in the damn game by now. Then Mike Groh also speaks about how explosive our plays are going to be. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it because I haven't seen crap yet out of Mike Groh. He just flies under the radar so much, and I know it makes sense because Doug Peterson is the guy, and it's his offense, and he's the play caller, so it makes sense, right? You would criticize Doug Peterson over Mike Groh when it comes to the offense struggling so much. But Mike Groh stinks. I believe Frank Reich would tell Doug, do not go for that fake field goal. That is stupid, that is moronic, and that can arguably be the worst play call of your entire career. Mike Rowe seems to either agree with Doug or he's afraid to tell Doug that that's a bad play call. Frank Reich wouldn't be afraid to speak up. And I love watching him succeed in Indianapolis because he looks like a stud head coach to me. But Dougie P, he deserves a little bit of criticism. Not to the extreme right now of fire Doug. No. But you're allowed to question what's going on here. Why are we continuing to fall behind? Why can't we score in the first quarter in road games? Why are we deferring the ball every time? Why are we having a fake field goal? We all know his strong suit is the leader of men. People will fight for him, and that is a strong thing to have as a head coach. You also need a game plan. You also need to call right plays. You also need to have flow in your offense and creativity. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it since Frank Reich left. So, I'm very interested to see what you think on this conversation about Jalen Ramsey. Everyone wants Jalen Ramsey. He's the big name. He's a young stud. Who cares about the draft picks? We can't draft right anyway. I get all that. But I'm just asking to look at the other side of it. There's so much value in first-round talent. There's so much value in first-round talent when you are an old football team trying to get younger. Yes, we have holes at the cornerback position, and yeah, he would help. No doubt about it. We need to get younger as well. So I would have done it. I'm okay with not doing it. But if we don't do it, we still need to attack those cornerbacks. Marcus Peters went away to Baltimore. Could that have been something we were dialed in with? Was that a look we possibly could have done? At least made a phone call about? Chris Harris has been a name. You're going to have to find a way to put Band-Aids on it, but my guess is Howie is going to stick with the Jalen Mills, the Ronald Darby, the Cravon LeBlanc, and in my opinion, that's the wrong thing to do, and that's a different type of conversation to have if that ends up becoming what he does. I don't think that relates to Jalen Ramsey, because I believe Howie was in on Jalen Ramsey and fully pursuing it. I don't know what happened here, though. I can't imagine it being the 4th round draft pick that was the difference maker. So I don't know what went down here, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes moving forward. Thank you guys so much, and I will be back on the next one.